The last train. The hum of the city grew distant as the clock struck midnight. Anna stood at the edge of the train platform, her coat pulled tight against the autumn chill. She glanced at the old station clock hanging above, its hands frozen at a time long forgotten. No one else was around. The station had been empty for as long as she could remember, except for her and the trains that came without a schedule. It was always the same train, an old, rusty locomotive with flickering lights and wooden seats. Tonight felt different, though. The air seemed charged with something unspoken, something unsettling. She glanced down at the ticket in her hand. It was crumpled, smudged, as if it had passed through many hands before hers. She didn't remember buying it. A distant rumble echoed through the tracks, growing louder as the train approached. The screech of metal on metal filled the air, and soon the train pulled into the station with a low hiss. The doors slid open, revealing the dimly lit interior. Anna hesitated for a moment before stepping inside. The doors closed behind her with a soft thud, sealing her fate. The train car was nearly empty, save for a few shadowy figures scattered throughout. They sat still, faces hidden in the dark. Anna took a seat by the window, watching as the city lights blurred into darkness. She couldn't shake the feeling that something was terribly wrong, but she didn't know why. Her heartbeat quickened. After a few minutes, the train jolted to a stop. The doors slid open again, and a man stepped inside. He wore a black suit, his face pale and expressionless. He walked down the aisle, his eyes scanning the passengers. When he reached Anna, he stopped. "Ticket," he said in a voice so cold it sent shivers down her spine. She handed it to him, her hands trembling slightly. He studied the ticket for a long moment before looking at her, his eyes dark and hollow. "This is your stop," he said, his voice barely a whisper. Anna glanced out the window, but all she could see was fog swirling in the distance. There was no station, no platform, just the dense, impenetrable mist. She turned back to the man. "I don't understand," she said, her voice shaking. He didn't respond. Instead, he gestured toward the door, which had opened once more. Reluctantly, she stood up and made her way to the exit. The other passengers remained still, as if they hadn't noticed a thing. As she stepped off the train, the fog enveloped her instantly, cold and damp against her skin. The train's doors slid shut behind her, and with a sharp hiss, it disappeared into the mist. Anna was alone. She stood there for what felt like hours, waiting for something, anything, to emerge from the fog. But nothing came. Then, faintly, she heard the sound of a train whistle in the distance. But this time, it was moving.